Hey guys, so yet another decluttering video. I feel like we're in the home run a little bit. We've gotten through that entire drawer over there, which was the eyeshadows, the lip products, the mascaras, the eyeliners, and the brow products. And then in our last declutter, we did powders and foundations and also setting sprays because I only have 2 of those that I'm keeping. And also lashes and cosmetic sponges. So this time, I don't know, maybe we're gonna try to get through everything else that's here. I am moving in less than 1 week, so I need to get this done soon. I've explained in my last declutters, I'll mention quickly that what I am trying to do is set a target number of products per category so that I can sort of declutter ongoing and never get more than that number of products. So if I want to bring something new into my collection, I have to get rid of something else. We're gonna start with primers for today. And I'll sort of move them up as I go through so you can see them, and I'll just get some non-primer things out of the way here because there's a fair bit of blush. For primers, I'm actually going to set the number to 10, which is fairly high, but one of the things that I do is when I'm testing foundation, I like to have a real variety of primers to test it with, primers that do all kinds of different things. So I only have like maybe 11 primers, and we'll go through and see if I want to keep less than 10, but those are the reasons why I might keep a few more. But I'll just show you what I have in my collection as well. So I have 2 here that are really pore filling primers, and I have the one that everybody knows, sort of the OG Professional. So I like to keep this because it's sort of a known pore filling primer. So that one is staying, but I also have, and I really enjoy this one, the Cover FX Blurring Primer. I find Cover FX does primers really well, and this has basically the same texture and feel as the Professional. And I really like this one. I actually reach for this before I reach for the Professional. This one right here, the No Problem Primer, I tested this out and I didn't find that it did anything for actually blurring pores. It was really hard to find any difference it made at all, which is kind of frustrating since it is a full-size product. I think this one I may get rid of because I really don't ever reach for it, but I'll just put it to the side for now. So next I have, oh, this one I'm gonna get rid of for sure. This was when I first started getting into makeup, so this is old. And it's inexpensive, it's drugstore, the NYC Smooth Skin Perfecting Primer. It really does nothing, it's just a moisturizer, but it's quite old, so I'm gonna get rid of that. I have a few luminizing primers here. I have the Smashbox Photo Finish Radiance, and I remember quite liking this. I should reach for it more, and I think now that things are organized, I will. So there's that Radiant one. There's this MAC one that I love, and I'm probably not reaching for it because I'm trying to make it last a little bit longer. This is the MAC Strobe Cream, and I know Strobe Cream kind of makes you think that it's there to be dotted on as like a highlight, but to me this just makes your face look so beautifully luminous. This one is in the shade Pink Light, and it's just so nice. And then I also have the MAC Prep and Prime Natural Radiance Base, and I also find that this is really good. I know there's like no decluttering happening here. The Makeup Forever Step 1 Base Hydrating Primer. It's basically like a moisturizer, kind of the same with this base tape one from Tarte, except this is very strongly coconut scented. But I do reach for these when I just want something that is hydrating, if a foundation is looking a little dry. I have here a Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. I reach for this as sort of a neutral primer. I feel like it was one of the first primers on the market, and so it's very silicone, it does a bit of pore filling, it does a lot of smoothing, and this is often sort of my base, let's try a foundation with primer. The one that I'm not sure about is this luminizing primer. It says pores no more, but it's also luminizing. It smells a lot like sunscreen, but there's no sunscreen in it. I will often use this in the same way that I use the Sephora Make No, is that Make No Mistakes? No, what is that? Is it? Yeah, Make No Mistakes foundation stick. in that if I'm just putting on makeup for a couple of hours to film, I'll use this because it does provide some nice moisturization, and it's not my favorite primer, so I don't feel like I need to commit to like a whole day of wearing it, which may not be a good reason to keep it, but I'm going to hold on to it for now. So really we only got rid of one primer, I know, but there is a reason why I have a few more of those ones. And moving on to my blush collection, which is where we're going next, there's definitely going to be a lot more decluttering. I think I moved the camera there. A lot more decluttering happening. Oh, that should have been thrown out. Because I have a ton of blushes, and I think I want to get them down to 10, which would be a huge declutter. And I feel like there's going to be some of this that I know right away I want to keep, and then some of them that I know right away I can get rid of. Like, I love my Tarte blushes. This is in the shade Feisty. It's a little bit more brown toned. And then I also have Party, which was one of those like Sephora birthday things. I love those. I really like my Milani Baked Blush. This has such a nice glow to it and a nice tone. And one of my favorite go-to blushes is this Pixie by Petra in Beach Rose, which I know is a similar tone to this, but I do like that. So that's 4 already. I'm going to get rid of this, it's very dusty, Studio Makeup On The Go. It's a loose blush. I just never reach for it because it's just a little bit more difficult to use than I want to use. Although it's a beautiful tone and blends out lovely, this is, let's just call Luminous Loose Blush. But yeah, that's gonna go. I'm gonna get rid of this Pure one. It's just really a dark shade for me. This is in the shade Sassy. It was part of like a mystery box kind of thing. It's just very pigmented and just not quite a shade that I like on me. I think I remember liking this Note blush, but I also remember being, yeah, it's very pigmented, which I always prefer blushes you can build a little bit. And I also feel like this had kind of a similar tone to some of the other ones that I like more. This one from Real Her, I don't know, I'm not so into these baked blushes, and I found this one wasn't right for my skin tone. They were all a little bit luminous. I just never reach for it, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Same with this. I mean, this is the shade Zane from, I don't even remember what company anymore. It's just a sort of plummy toned blush, but I don't reach for it, so goodbye. Let me move a few things around here so I know what I'm dealing with. I have some highlighters and some blushes mixed together. Okay, so actually a lot of what's here is highlighters. So let's continue on here. I currently have 4 that I'm keeping. I'm going to keep this Alamar Cosmetics blush trio. I just really like the tones of it. This and this is a little bit different, this sort of coral tone and the Toast It shade. And this would be really good for traveling with, so I'm going to keep that. I'm going to get rid of this Pretty Vulgar blush. I just find that like it's a similar kind of tone to some of the ones that I'm keeping, but again, it's very pigmented. And then when you get too much on, I find it's very hard to blend out. So that's gonna go. Here's one of my original ones. It's NARS Orgasm. And I mean, the shade is okay. It's got some glitter and stuff in it. It's that gold toned pink. I have hit pan on it, but it's also gotten like that hard pan going on. And I don't reach for this anymore, so that's gonna go. This was one of like the first products that I reviewed on my channel, and it's kind of a highlighter, kind of a blush, but it's never anything I reach for because it's just right in the middle. I guess it's kind of a blush topper, but I don't really use those. It's the Be Lighter from Laka & Co. And while it's fun to play with, I'm going to get rid of that. However, I am going to keep this NARS Whipped. This is kind of the only cream blush that I have, and I like the shade of it. It blends amazingly well, and when I do want to test products without powders, it's nice to have a cream blush to be able to do that. I'm going to hold on to this Laura Geller powder. This is Tropic Hues. It's a baked blush and brighten, And I really, really like this, but I will tell you, if you are in the market for something like this, because this is quite expensive, it's very much like the Milani Baked Blush formula. So I'm keeping that because it's pretty, but know that you can get it for basically a lower price. This Balm Hot Mama blush, I do like it, but I mean, it's a tiny little sample. I've used it a lot, and I think it's lived its life. I think I'm gonna hold on to this So Susan Blush and Glow. It's a luminizing blush, and it's in kind of a neat, again, I like these brown tone kind of blushes. I find they look good on me. And this one is definitely glowy, but I like it. I'm gonna keep that. And then, surprisingly, I think I am going to keep this City Color Be Matte blush, specifically because there is one unique shade in here. Like, I know this almost looks, if it's picking up properly, like straight purple, but it gives you like a really natural looking, like just came in from the cold in the winter kind of flush. And I don't have any other color like that. So keeping that brings me up to 9 blushes altogether, which is awesome. And I'm loving how clean everything is looking over here. So I'm gonna move these down so the blushes are out of the way. And then we're going to move on to highlighter, which I think is going to be even harder. Well, that was terrifying. So I just dropped my camera and it fell really hard onto the ground. So I think it's working again. I guess I'll know when I go to import and edit this footage. So we will see. Whew. So we're going to look at some highlighters. I'm going to try to keep 10 highlighters. That's going to be sort of what I'm aiming for. That may be difficult, but we will see. So I'm gonna do sort of a first cut here and take out the ones I know I don't use, keep the ones I do. I really like this Artist Couture Purple Dream. It's like it has a purple iridescence to it, but somehow looks really cool. So I'm gonna keep that. This Ofra one, it's the Rodeo Drive. It's kind of my go-to for like bright highlighter. So I'm gonna keep that. This Becca one, this is in Prosecco Pop, and it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I'll just show you there. It almost looks like it would be a little deep for me, but it just has the most beautiful gold tone glow. So I'm gonna keep that. I'm also gonna keep this Estate highlighter. It's like, I know it looks straight up purple, but somehow gives this really pretty, like ethereal, fairy glow kind of look to it that I really like. This is probably one of the only times I'm gonna do this, I hope, but I'm gonna keep these Cover FX glitter drops. I have no idea what I would use them for at all, but I just really like them, and I don't know, maybe I'll find some reason to wear them. I'm gonna get rid of this Kaleidos Cosmetics highlighter. I don't ever reach for it. It's not bad, it's just not anything special. And for the same reason, I'm going to get rid of a couple of these here. The Catherine Natural Cosmetics. Again, it's a really pretty, it's called Sienna's Highlight. It's nice enough and everything. It's got like a pretty, just sort of wet, light champagne to it. And this right here is Moon Dust by, I think, Ciate London. And it's fine, but I just don't ever reach for it being in like this pan by itself. And I have other like champagne toned highlights. This Temptu Liquid Glow, it's really fun for like mixing in to foundation and having a glow. I'm gonna put that to the side for now and see if I want to keep it. This Winky Lux, I think it's sort of the same as the, oh no, yeah, I think this is one of these really like iridescent. Yeah, it's got that purple shift to it. But I think because I have a couple of other ones that I like more, this is gonna be a maybe. The Essence Pure Nude, it's really pretty. It's like such a, I think I got this because Kathleen Lights was talking about it, and it's super inexpensive. It's just a really light, very light natural glow, but I do feel like I can do that with some of the other products that I have now, so that's gonna go. This one, although I do have some iridescent, you know, highlights that I like, this one was just a little too much for me. Like, I don't know, I'm not into like a green highlight or a blue highlight. Like, it's fun, but I'm never reaching for this, so that's gonna go. This is gonna go as well. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Makeup Stick. It's nice enough, but I don't know, and I guess it's like a cream highlight, but I never ever reach for it, and I rarely end up using a cream highlight. And if I do, I kind of feel like I would play around with the glitter drops a little bit more. Oh, there's some more tucked in here. So currently I have 5. I'm going to hold on to this little sample of the Mary Luminizer. It's again kind of one of those like original kind of highlights, and I find that this is sort of a prettier version of a very natural kind of highlight. So I'm gonna hold on to that. I don't know, I think I'm gonna get rid of this. This is the Physicians Formula Shimmer Bricks. I think I got this because Fatela talked about how awesome it was. It just never quite does what I want it to do on my skin. It always comes out just a little too white and harsh on me. And for that reason, that can go. I have another Artist Couture highlight here, which is again like a really blingy kind of highlight. I'll just show you there, if you can see. I like these Artist Couture ones, so I'm gonna hold on to that. And I have this Vintages by Jessica Leapskin one. I actually really liked this deeper, like brown tone shade as a highlight. It's just a very wet looking highlight, but let me see how many I have here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm gonna hold on to this. And you know what? I'm gonna bring back in the Temp2 Shimmer. I'm on the fence about the Winky Lux one. This would bring me up to 10, but I really never ever reach for it. But maybe I will now that it's here. I'm gonna keep it for now because I'm still at my 10, and then I'll make some hard decisions if I need to bring another highlighter into my collection. So there we go on highlights. Let's do a little face palette exploration here because I think I know exactly what I'm gonna keep and what I'm not. I basically have 4 face palettes here. I am definitely keeping the Tarte Pro Glow. I mean, if I could only keep, like, if I couldn't keep any of my blushes or highlights or bronzers, I would still be happy having just this. It is amazing, amazing, amazing. I love this to death. This is staying for sure. This Pure one, I never reach for. It's also very hard to open. I can make it work, but it feels like it would be better for a deeper skin tone than me. Everything is just a little bright and a little deep on my skin. This Smashbox product is one of my like original products. You can see how I've hit pan on that, but I never reach for this anymore, so I'm going to get rid of that. This Pure Sculptor one I am going to keep for a very specific reason. If you've watched one of my videos where I talk about using powder products on my hair, this deep color right here I use with a very specific brush when my gray roots are starting to grow out, to tap onto my roots to cover the gray. So although that is not a face makeup thing I use it for, I definitely use this, so I'm keeping it. Now, I thought I had a lot of bronzers. There are surprisingly few of them left now that I've gone through everything else in my collection. And I think I can sort of look at this and say what I want to keep. I never reach for this. I don't, should I keep a cream bronzer? Should I? Maybe I should, just in case I want to use it at some point. I'll show you a couple that I know I'm getting rid of right away. The Model Co bronze and the Pure bronzer, like they are fine and it's nice having these big pans of them, but they're just a little deep for my skin. You can see they've gotten dusty because I don't ever reach for them. They've got a little bit of glimmer in them, which isn't my thing. And I do really feel like the Tarte ones suit me better, plus a couple of the other ones here. This Pretty Vulgar one, it can be a little deep and a little harsh, but it blends out really nicely and is a very natural looking, not too orange tone, at least on me, so that's gonna stay. And then I really like this Ciate one as well. This is the Bamboo Bronzer Palm Island. And it again is a very neutral, not orange in any way kind of shade that blends really nicely. I think I'm gonna get rid of this Bahama Mama one. It's nice and all, but it's a sample, it's old, it's hard to get your brush into, so that can go. And I think I'm gonna hold on to this. Now that my collection's pared down, I can see this a little bit better, and I remember really liking this tone from the Balm Oliver, which is a bronzer, anti-orange bronzer, and I remember liking that. So now that I'm only have like 4 bronzers here and I can see it again, I think that will be good. So there we go, folks. That is the end of my declutter of makeup. I hope you've enjoyed this. My next step is going to be packing all of this stuff up so that I can take it to my new place. But I'm super happy that I'm only going to be taking the products with me that I know and I love and I want to keep playing with. If you've liked these declutters, give this a thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to seeing all of you in my next video. Bye.